Hello, brothers. Hello, sister. It's dinner time. Come on in and sit down. It's dinner time. Your brother Tony got some good soul food for you this evening. How you doing, Sister Karen? Thank you for coming to dinner, sister. Come on in. The rest of you brothers, come on in. The rest of you sisters. We got a good meal this evening. I'm going to serve some up to you real good. So come on in. Welcome to Over the Hump Day, my brothers and sisters. Bring some of your friends along so they can get some of this food. We got plenty to feed you tonight, okay? We're going to give a few more people opportunity to come in, and then I'm going to jump right into tonight's content. So get ready for a good meal this evening. Hello, Mother. I see you checking in around the dinner table. Come on in. The rest of you brothers and sisters. If this is your first time looking at this particular broadcast, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships of that between a man and a woman that should be serious, that should go to the commitment, and after the commitment, it should lead to the covenant part of the relationship. And I talk about the position between a man and a woman from a biblical perspective. When you look in the book of Genesis, God started the human race off with the relationship between himself and a man, himself and a woman, himself with a man, that man being Adam, himself and Eve. So God brought the man and the woman together, and in the presence of God, Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. How you doing, Sister Douglas? Thank you for coming in around dinner time, sister. We got plenty of room for you. But it's those of you that are looking at this particular broadcast, if you don't believe in the relationship between a man and a woman, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But I encourage you to look at this broadcast. Maybe you could get something out of it. And with that said, my brothers and sisters, we're about to get into tonight's content. Tonight's show, my brother and sister, is 7 things that God will show a man about a particular woman to marry. There are 7 things that God himself will show a man about a particular woman to marry. Not any woman, but there's a particular woman. As you know, my brother and sister, I always say that God did not put our marriages together. Let's look at the United States of America. There are plenty of people that are married, but majority of the people that got married, my brother and sister, God didn't have nothing to do with it. Even though this man and woman, they could have had, quote unquote, a church wedding. Some of them don't even go to worship, public worship, but they just want to have this churchy wedding or whatever. But majority of the marriage, my brother and sister, this man did not go to God and get God to help him find a woman, or this woman did not wait for God to cause a man to find her. Majority of them, it didn't work out that way. Most men and most women, they got together for their own personal reason or benefits out of being in a relationship with one another. So this is what I'm talking about. When I say 7 things that God would show a man, when I say show a man, I'm not talking about any man. I'm talking about a man that is following after God. And when I say a particular woman, I'm talking about a virtual woman, Proverbs 31 woman, one that God is really one of the main pieces in her life. Okay, that's the type of woman, a particular woman. She's not a worldly woman. And then the man, he's a man that follows after the Lord. So I'm narrowing it down to a man that follows the Lord and also a woman that's following the Lord, okay? Now, there are 7 things that you should look for, brother, if you're truly a brother, when it comes to a particular woman that God will show you. Now, one of the biggest things, my brothers, my sister, is that a man can have in his life after his relationship with God is not money. Now listen to this carefully, my brother and sister. One of the best things a man can have in his life after his relationship with God, it is not money. It is not possessions. It is not a highly worldly position. It is not a girlfriend. It is not a live-in woman. It is not even a cut buddy. It is a good woman that happens to be a wife, as it is written in Proverbs 18:2. Again, Proverbs 18:2. Proverbs 18:2. God's word said through King Solomon, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. Now, as you know, my brother and sister, I said that God do not put our marriage together. This particular scripture that I just read to you from Proverbs 18:2 is talk about a certain man and a certain woman. So if the man does not have no time for God, I'm definitely not talking about that man. And the woman that decided to marry the man, called a real man that falling after God, even though this man is not perfect. I'm talking about this type of man that even not perfect. How you doing, Cheryl? And how you doing, Sister Flo? Now, he that finds a wife, that's a man that's following God. Listen to me very carefully. It's only a man that's following God that the scripture apply to. Finds what is good. How you doing, my little sister Renee? And receives favor from the Lord. So a man that finds a good woman, she's not perfect, but a man that finds a good woman, God does all the leg work, okay? God does all the leg work. God put that woman in that man's view, and he finds her that way by God doing all the work. So that's what I'm talking about. And not only that, that man received a favor from the Lord. Whenever a man finds a good wife, and whenever a woman is found by a good man, the man is not perfect, but the woman not perfect, but it's a perfect God that brought the man and the woman together. That man received a favor from the Lord. The man did not work for it, but God looked at that man and said, I'm going to put a good woman in that man's life, because that man is trying to serve me to the best of his ability. It's not no worldly man. Some sisters, I hate to say it, if you date somebody that's not into God, I'm not talking to you. If you married to a man that's not into God, I'm not talking to you, because it only talks about a man that is following the Lord. That particular man find favor. That's why God pick a certain type of woman for that man. Now, the highest honor that a man can give a woman is to marry her. That's the highest honor that a man could give a woman, that is to marry her. And when I say the highest honor, I'm talking about a man, again, that follow God and the woman follow God together. It got to be both of them. It can't be one. It has to be both of them. As a male lion that protects its territory, it's like a masculine man that claims his territory, that's being his wife by committing to her. Boy men do not commit to women. Boy men are men that do not follow God or do not have time for God. Boy men are worldly men. They find everything to do, but they do not have time for God. Boy men do not commit, but they desire the benefits of a married man. Boy men desire the benefit of a married man, as it is written in 1 Corinthians 7:2. 1 Corinthians 7:2, it says, but since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relationship with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband. Most worldly men, they know about that part. They know about the sexual desire. That's all they basically know. Most worldly men, they're about work, hanging with the boys, spend little time with their wife and their children. How you doing, Sister Diane? Most worldly men, they workaholic. And a lot of men that are workaholic, they put themselves in that position because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. A man should work to be able to take care of himself, his woman, and so he can spend time with God and his woman and his family. Now, maybe I'll be talking to some of you guys. You're going to have to cut back on that work and give God some of your time and that woman some of your time. You may have to downsize. Don't try to impress people. Impress God, impress your wife and your children and / your family. Now, do you know what really fascinates me, my brother and sister? This is what really fascinates me. The biggest thing that fascinates me, one of the biggest things that fascinates me, where I could get a bag of popcorn and some soda, there is a live movie that I look at and I ponder over it. And this live movie is not like a comedy, but this is like a drama. Whereas a woman allows a man to waste her time, her resources, her heart for 5, 10, 15 plus years, that kind of stuff, that really gets to my head. And I'll eat a whole bunch of popcorn and soda trying to figure out why some women allow men to waste their time, their resources, hurt their heart, and they stayed up for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. And he would never commit to her as God ideal relationship. These type of men would never love the woman like she need to be loved. Because most men think if I buy her something, if I take care of the bill, that's sure I love you. Brother, you have to do more than buy a woman stuff. You're going to have to invest time in her. You got to learn how to talk to her. You got to know how to behave. When a man chooses a good woman, my brother and sister, he is in the spirit. You understand? When a man chooses a good woman, he is in the spirit and not in the flesh. His discernment tells him that she is mine. You understand? A spiritual man picks out a woman. A worldly man don't know how to pick out a woman. He pick out a woman. He may go get an engagement ring and say he married her, she married him. But a man's spirit, coupled with his discernment, shows the man what woman he's supposed to get married to. Now, some men make errors in their life, and they marry the wrong woman. But if a man is led by the Spirit of God, you see, God has to be in that man. And when God be in that man, when that man see a particular woman, how you doing, Sister Cynthia? When that man see a particular woman, I sure use the word instantly know. He instantly know that that's the woman that he see, I want to marry her. Like I have always said, my brother and sister, a man know within a short period of time, and it don't take 6 months. It doesn't take 6 months. It definitely doesn't take a year. It doesn't take 2 years, and so on and so on. A man knows in a short period of time whether that woman is wife material. How you doing, Sister Cynthia? We know within a short period of time. As it is written in Proverbs 21:9, 21:9, 21:9. This is the type of woman that a spiritual man, you must stay away from. You must stay away from this type of woman. In Proverbs 21:9, it said, better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. So, brother, those of you that are single, if you planning on marrying a woman, you better check this part out. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in the house shared with a contentious woman. And you all know what contentious means. Brother, if you dealing with, and some of you, brother, you may have married a contentious woman. That's why you don't go straight home after work. That's why you want to be with your friends all the time. That's why you want to do things outside of her, because you got a contentious woman. Also, it is written in Proverbs 27, verses 15, 16. Verses 15, 16. It states, a quarrelsome wife is like the dripping of a leaking roof in a rainstorm. Stopping her complaints is like trying to stop the wind or trying to hold something with greasy hands. You understand that, brother? If you are single and if you're dealing with a quarrelsome girlfriend, she's going to be a quarrelsome woman. That's going to be your wife. And you have to listen again, brother. This comes straight from God's word. A quarrelsome wife. Before she became a quarrelsome wife, brother, she was a quarrelsome girlfriend. You just did not pick up you just did not pick up on it. You did not look at the red flag. A quarrelsome wife is like a dripping or leaking roof in a rainstorm. Stopping her complaints is like trying to stop the wind. You can't stop the wind. Or trying to hold something with greasy hand. What can you hold with greasy hand? You can't do anything. How you doing, Sister Cheryl Ishmael? So, brother, those of you brothers right now, you thought that the woman that you were going to get married to, you thought she would talk and she would chattery, right? But you did not read the red sign. Now you marry her. And some of you brothers, you have a wife that complains about everything. How you doing, Sister Diane? She complains about everything, but she don't see who she is. She always wants to complain about something. You ain't doing this. You ain't doing that. You messed up. Now, when it comes to the 7 points that I said earlier, there are 7 things that God will show a man about a particular woman to marry. Number 1, brother, when you need to get ready for a wife, remember I said that it's the man's spirit that chooses a woman. And what do I mean by that? It's the Lord that's in the man that tells the man's soul, his mind, and will, and emotion, that's the one. You see, God does all the leg work. God set up things so you can meet him. So no matter what, the word will tell a man or a woman, this is how you meet, this is how you meet. When a man chooses a wife, a man is following after God, keep that in mind, and a woman that's following after God, God's spirit in that man will communicate with that man's soul. It's a spiritual thing. That spirit tell that man, she's the one. And then when the Lord's Spirit says she's the one, it communicates to your soul and you carry it out in your body by you verbally tell that woman you approach her and you be straight up with that woman. You tell that woman, look, I could see us together. We can do this. It'll be all about us. When a man knows with his spirit, he's convinced because God brought that woman in his view. Now, this is what you will see, brothers. Number 1, does she have a submissive spirit? The woman that God brings to you, brother, she is going to have a submissive spirit. She's not going to have a slave mentality, but she's going to have a submissive spirit, meaning she is willing to follow you. She look at you as a leader. She look at you as being the head of the home. She gonna submit to you. She know that you and her equal, but she understand her role in the relationship. God is going to allow you to see this, brothers. Number 2, watch how she treat people. God is going to show you how that woman treat people. You could take her out or whatever. Watch how she treat people. That especially people that she doesn't know. That's a key thing. You could be around your family, she good with your family. You could be around her family, she cool with her family. But a woman that treat people nice and kind that she doesn't know, you got some on your hand. And I have always said this, and I'm not putting my wife up on a pedestal, but I have seen her treat my family well before we got married. I have seen how she treat her family before and after we got married, and I have watched her how she treat strangers. That really touched my heart, brother, when I seen how she communicate with strangers. She always doing something for strangers. No matter where we be at, she don't mind stopping, talking to a stranger. She don't mind helping a stranger. Some of you brothers don't know nothing about a woman like that. Even if you go to a restaurant, you could watch how a woman treat a waiter or a waitress. That tells you a lot about a woman. Somebody that she doesn't even know. So she's submissive in how she treats people. Because let me tell you this, in the book of Hebrews plainly say that we be careful to entertain strangers because we have entertained angels unawarely. Let me tell you where that's at. I wasn't planning on doing it, but I'm about to do it right now. Hold up. Check this out, brother and sister. It's in Hebrews 13:2. Hebrews 13:2. Hebrews 13:2. It said, do not forget to show hospitality to strangers. What is a stranger? A stranger is somebody that you do not know. It said, for by doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. You understand it, my brother and sister? That's some deep stuff. Most of the time when we be around people, we look at them as people. But my brother and sister, you got to be aware of this. Angels take on human bodies. And you look at a person, you think that's just a human man or something like that. But angels still come in, they come down here and they take on human flesh. And you think that that's a man. But it's an angel. Again, Hebrews 13:2 say, do not be forgetful to show hospitality to strangers. For by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. That's a key thing, my brothers. Number 3, and sister, how you could tell that a woman really made for you, my brothers and sisters. This is how you could tell. Number 3. She wants you for who you are, not for what you have. You understand that? She wants you, brother, for who you are, not for what you have or what you're going to do for her. If you notice this, brother, a lot of time when you meet a woman, a worldly woman, this is one of the first questions a worldly woman will ask you. Check this out, brother. What do you do? Worldly women normally ask that question early on. What do you do? What is she asking you? She asking you about what type of position you have in this world, what type of job. So when she asks you what type of job, she trying to figure out how much income you're going to have. And if you tell her what company you work for, what type of position, she might go later on and Google it and see your position and how much money. That's how worldly women do it. Women that are not worldly, they don't ask you up front, what do you do? They're going to find out in the process. A woman that has the Spirit of God, she's more interested in what she's going to bring to the table than holding her hands out. You understand, brother? Worldly women come to hold their hands out. They come to take. Spiritual women don't come to take from you. They come to give. Spiritual women come into the relationship 100% giving. Worldly women come into the relationship 100% take without giving. Worldly women, they come to take and they give a little. That's how worldly women think. They give, they want a lot, they give a little. Spiritual women come in 100% because, keep in mind, they have a submissive spirit. They want to follow you. They treat people kindly. And they want you to know who you are. You see, a spiritual woman, she wants to know who you are. How you doing, Sister Ron? She wants to know your relationship with God first. Let me stop here. Most women, not all women, are not interested, brother, in whether or not you have a relationship with God. Most of them are not. These are worldly women. Women that think they have a relationship with God, they want to know, do you have a relationship with God? This is where a lot of women mess up. And this is where a lot of you brothers mess up. A lot of women that even say they following God, they end up marrying worldly men. Then they want to come to me and ask me. They come to me when I do my consultation. They want to come to me after they done got married. And they said, Tony, I got a problem with this guy. The first thing I really want to know, does he have a relationship with God? That's the first thing I basically want to know. Does he have a relationship with God? Well, no, I go to worship. He don't go to worship with me. I go by myself. He stay home. He go to the car wash. He say he tired. He go hang out with his boys. When y'all go to a restaurant, he don't even pray over the food. He just start eating. If anybody pray over the food, it's the woman, the one that claims she following God. She pray over the food when the man's supposed to be praying over the food. They could have people over to the house. The man won't even pray. Another man outside the house will pray over the food, unless you got one of those women that want to do it. But more than likely, this man can't even pray over food over his own house. That's why so much hell up in his house. Some of you sisters, you married the wrong man. Some of you sisters that are dating a man, you dating the wrong. You getting it right now, sister. You getting it free of charge. If you are in a relationship with a man that doesn't have time for God, that never talks to you about God, run. Do like Forrest, run. Don't get into it, because he's not going to hardly change. The highest honor that a man could give a woman is to marry her. Number 4. Remember what the 7th thing that what God would show a man about a woman, that a particular woman that he should marry. She is about this. She is about us. She's about our. Not only, brother, do you be saying we, us, and our. This woman, that's her love language. We, us, and our. When she make plans, she come to you. You want us to do this? We can do this. This ours. That's the type of woman you want, brother. Beware of the worldly women. They come to you about, you hear a lot of this, me, myself, and I. Can you do this for me? This is what I'm thinking. This mine's. That's worldly women. Godly women, their mindset is we, us, and our. Number 5. A godly woman, the right woman that God will show you, she is family oriented. How you doing, Sister Brenda? She is family oriented. She get along, basically. This is basically, not in all cases, but basically. The woman has a good relationship, brother, with your family. She have a good relationship with your family. You have a good relationship with her family. Let me tell you something. I like to say some things about my wife. Don't think I put her on no pedestal, okay? But I have to say some things about it. Is she perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. But let me tell you something. Let me give you all a little history. Some of you have heard it. Probably Cheryl and Flo done heard it before, but let me tell you this. When I took my wife over to my parents' house this one particular day, she was sitting at the table. We were eating dinner. And my mama got up and she went towards the hallway, right? So my mama, when she went in the hallway, she went where I could see her. I'm sitting at the dinner table, and she went in the hallway, and I could see her, and my mama did like this. Nobody could see her but me. So I got up, I excused myself from the table. I went in the hallway, and I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, Tony, this is what my mama said. She never said it about no other lady. This is what she said. She say, Tony, and this on her first meet. She say, Tony, I know you could do whatever you do with any other woman, but you can't bring no other women up in here. She said, if you're going to bring any women up in here, it's going to be that child. She would talk about my wife. Before we got married, she said, she's the only one that you're going to bring up here. Now, if you're going to date anybody else before y'all get married, you just date them out there somewhere. But this is the only woman that you bring into my house. And that was instant. Did my mama choose my wife? No, she didn't. But like I said, she was the first woman that my mama said that about. But I did my own choosing through God, okay? So a woman is very good family oriented. She like doing family things together, okay? She not one of these type of women that don't want to do nothing with your family. She not one of these type of women that got a lot of friction with her family. If she could treat strangers good, that means she more than likely have a good relationship with people she knows. Brother, if you dealing with a woman that got a lot of internal issue within her family, problem. If you take this woman around your family and they clash and stuff, you got a problem. Because guess what, brother? When you marry a woman, you marry her family and she's marrying your family. It's not just you, brother, and you, sister. You merging families together. Number 6, she quickly agrees to be one with you. She quickly agrees to be one with you. When God brings the right woman to you, when God brings an imperfect woman to you, brothers, even if she dating somebody else, because if she not married, she's a free agent. You understand? And likewise, sister, if the man is not married, he's a free agent. Let me say something to you, my brother and sister, right here. Let me put a dime in the middle. Brother, if a woman is with another man and they're not married, she's a free agent. Sister, if a man is out there and he's not married to another woman, he's a free agent. You remember what Richard Dimplefield said? She got papers on me. There are a lot of men and women, they want to claim a relationship. There are some men that be with women, they say, this my woman. This my woman. Even though they stay in separate houses, this my woman. He can live in her house. This my woman. She can live in his house. This my woman. But you know what? The strange thing is, he will not marry her. He's not committed to her. Even if a woman got a boyfriend and she stay in a different house, he stay a different house. If she stay with him and he will not marry her, that's not no commitment. There's no commitment. Some of you people got to understand, the commitment goes when you say, I do. Other than that, you free agents. I know some people don't agree with that when I say you're a free agent. When you look at it from God's point of view, God does not recognize, I have said this over and over again, God only recognizes a man and woman when they get engaged and move towards being married or getting married. God put his stamp of approval, bam, when they get married. Other than that, God look at a relationship between a man and woman. They go together or they live together. God say that's fornication. Word of men and women say they go together. They're a couple. That's my hubby. That's my wife. God say that's fornication. They're a couple. God said that's fornication. God say, are you married to her? No, God. Are you married to him? No, God. Well, you and y'all doing what married people do? I'm afraid so, God. Well, if you doing what married people do, you doing fornication. So are you telling me, this God talking, are you telling me, you man, you doing what you want to do? He ain't gonna say nothing. He turned to the woman. So you doing what you want to do. She ain't don't say nothing. So he turned to the man. So you playing like you're a husband. So you playing like you're a wife. So both of y'all acting, right? You looking for an Academy Award? You looking for a Grammy? You looking for an Academy Award, Grammy or Tony? Well, what you doing? You playing. I don't have time for foolishness. You either gonna marry her or let her go. You either gonna marry him or let him go. Man, I got somebody better for her because you wasting her time. Woman, I got somebody better for him because you wasting his time. Brother say, so true. Problem with the lack to me in a certain degree, and I pray. Yes, brother, you're right, brother. Now, again, the highest honor that a man can give a woman is to marry her. Not to be her boyfriend, not to be her live-in, not to be her cut buddy, none of that stuff. Brother, are you going to be serious with this woman? Brother, are you going to commit to this woman? Brother, are you going before the Lord and say, I take responsibility, woman, I will marry her? Sister, are you serious with this man? Sister, are you going to commit to this man? Sister, are you going to marry this man and let him be the leader and the head of the relationship? Now, this brother, I want you really to listen to me this evening. Be extremely careful how you talk and how you treat a woman, because they are very emotional and they take things to heart. Listen, I'm going to say this 2 more times, you brother, especially you single brother. Be extremely careful how you talk to and how you treat a woman, because they are very emotional. How you doing, Sister Turn? They are very emotional, and they take things to heart. I'm going to say this one more time. I'm saying it 3 times because I want to drive it home. Brothers, listen. Be extremely careful how you talk to and how you treat a woman, because they are very emotional and they take things to heart. They don't forget nothing. They don't forget nothing, brothers. Never. Never, never, never. If you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, they have a tendency to hold things, whether it's good or bad. Like if you say something wrong to your woman, brother, and you crush her, she might go through the motion like she's okay, but they take a long time to recover after you use some acid words on them. If you treat them in a negative way, they may pretend to be over it, but they really aren't. It's going to take time. It takes time for women because they're emotional. 3 final thoughts. Sister, listen to this about the right man. It's 3 things what a godly man would do after he leads you, right? After he protect you. After he love you unconditionally, he provide for you, and he protect you. But you're going to see these 3 little things about a man that's really into you, sister. A right man will cause you, sister, to feel like you the only woman in the world. If you the right woman, he will make you feel, you will be convinced that out of all the women in the world, out of every relationship in the world other than God, you're going to feel and you're going to know that you come right after God. Yes, an imperfect man will cause you to feel that no other person or thing come before you except God. Remember that, sister. Number 2, the right man, sister. Listen to this. Some of you may not even thought about this, but the right man will cause you to laugh sometime. He's not going to be serious all the time. He might be serious with other people and you sometimes, but the right man, sister, he will cause you to laugh sometime. Some of you sisters right now, you dealing with a man, he's grumpy. He's so serious-minded. He can't relax. He's so stuffy. You know why that? You see, there's a time, the Bible even say that there's a time to laugh and there's a time to cry. There's a time for war and there's a time for peace. There's a time to hug and embrace. There's a time to refrain from hugging. There's a time to live and there's a time to die. Some of you sisters, you dealing with a man that he mad all the time. He never laughs. He grumpy. He never laugh. If he laugh, it's at your expense. He laugh at something that you did, and it's at your expense. He's not laughing with you. He's laughing at you. Some of you are dating those type of men. Some of you are married to those type of men. Those type of men don't have God in them, period. You understand? They don't have nothing in them, period. Some people, let me tell you all, brothers and sisters, this. Some people think that Jesus walked around here looking like this all the time. Some people think that Jesus was serious all the time. Some of you think Jesus was serious all the time, right? You got to remember, Jesus was 100% human too. He was 100% God and 100% human. Jesus experienced all the human experience without sin. Jesus, I can see Jesus laughing sometimes. I can see Jesus being serious and I can see Jesus laughing sometimes. Jesus was the kind of individual where little children want to be around him. So that means he had a pleasant disposition. Does your man have a pleasant disposition? Do people like being around your man? Or do they can't stand, they just putting up with him because that's your man? Some of you got boyfriend that your family don't want nothing to do with him. Not only your family, his family don't want nothing to do with him. He got a few friends and his friends just like him. Or do you have a man that when he around your family, they like him. They laugh with him. He laugh with them. He laugh with his family. You laugh with his family. Do you, sister, have a man that he do little crazy stuff around the house and you laugh at it? He purposely trying to make you laugh and it's not corny. Sometimes you make him laugh. Sometimes you can have serious moments, but then he will crack a joke or something and you all bust out laughing. Sometimes you all may have your private joke. Do you have a man like that that's serious and he know how to cause you to laugh sometimes? One more thing. The right man doesn't mind going into his pocket, sister. If you're the right woman, it's called just because. If the right man that God brings to you, this man will not mind going to his pocket. He might not have went in his pocket for other women before you, and other women might think that he was stingy. You know, he was not stingy. He wasn't a fool. A lot of times when women call men stingy, those men aren't fools. A lot of women, they try to play men because they go. A lot of men, you see, a lot of men, they try to get women with their pockets. So a lot of women are accustomed to women. A lot of women are accustomed to men coming out their pockets. But a real godly man stuff, he's not just gonna pull his resources out for a woman that he know ain't real. Let me tell you all this. Some of you have heard it before. So listen to it again. When I was in the world, strongly in the world, when I went to clubs, if I go to a club I never bought a woman a drink. You want to call me stingy? Now, I never bought a woman a drink. You know why I ain't buy no woman a drink? Some of you saying, Tony, why you didn't buy the woman a drink? She was thirsty. No. I was not going to buy a woman a drink just to talk to her. Because, see, I know that some women, they will let you buy them a drink, but they don't want you to talk. You see, the rule is the how shall I say it? The underlying rule is if you're in a club, sisters, and a man buy you a drink, he's not buying you a drink because you're thirsty. He's buying you a drink because that's an invitation. He wants to talk to you. Sister, if you in the club, like, and a man come to talk to you, if you don't want to talk to the man, do not accept a drink. That's a club rule. But there are some women, you will get the drink, and then you'll get one of your girlfriend to rescue you. You might text her. You might text your girlfriend, cause you got the guy to buy you a drink. Now you want your girlfriend to rescue you or something like that. Because you ain't got time for the man. Now let me tell you what I did do when I was in the club. Let me tell you this, my brother and sister. Did I ever buy? Yes, that's right, Sister Ron. Let me tell you what I did when I was in the club. If I talked to a woman in my club days, I would buy her a drink. It depends on how the conversation went. And then it was a club, okay. You know, in some clubs they would have somebody would come by and they would try to sell a rose, right? Not on the drinks, they would come around, say, you want to buy her a rose? Why am I going to buy a woman a rose? I don't even know this sister. Why am I going to buy her a rose? We ain't really talked yet. I'm not just going to buy nothing just to talk or just to have time with a woman. No, I didn't think I was all in a bag of chips, but I didn't roll like that. I would buy her a drink if the conversation was going pretty well. Other than that, let me tell you something. I have been called stingy many a time in my lifetime. You know why I was called stingy? Because I wasn't going to be no fool. I was a fool one time, and I learned from that. I was a fool one time for one lady when she stuck me with a bill at a restaurant. I was a fool that time, but after that time, I said no woman would take me like that no more. I was a fool one time, so she might have got away with it one time, but I guarantee you it's not going to be two. But back to what I was saying. The right man, sister, if the right man is into you, he doesn't mind going into his pockets. What do I mean by that? You will experience a lot of things that call just because. That man is interested in addressing your needs first, and he's interested in addressing your wants secondly. This man wants to cause your heart to smile sometimes. He into surprising you a lot. Some women, you handcuff the man because you don't know how to be a woman. Some women, you have that worldly mentality. So if you have that worldly mentality and you're dealing with a godly man, godly men don't mind doing things for godly women. You understand that? Godly men do not mind doing things for godly women. Like worldly men don't mind doing nothing for worldly women but acting like a fool. Godly men do not mind investing in a woman. Godly men don't mind doing whatever it takes to make that woman feel good and look good. He think about her feeling first and then her outside her external features later. That's the last part what he's thinking about. But it's inside first, outside last. 7 things that God would show a man about a particular woman. She got to be handpicked by God. And God brings the woman in that man's view And that spirit of God that's in that man, let that man know she's the one. I hope you all enjoyed dinner tonight. I did. I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. If you wanted to have a carry-out, go ahead and have a carry-out. Share it with your rest of your friends and family and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. Thank you so much, brother and sister, for being here. I really appreciate it. Lord willing, I will be back tomorrow. I love you, brothers. Love you, sister. Thank you for coming to dinner. Peace out.